let's talk about one of the most brilliant tricks your brain pulls off every single day. Seriously, how it takes all that internal pressure, the stress, the tension, and transforms it into something manageable, something meaningful, and yeah, sometimes something pretty funny.
I mean, think about it. Ever had a really weird dream and then woken up feeling strangely calm? Or have you been in a tense room where one perfect joke just shatters the stress? Well, those aren't just random glitches. They are your brain's built-in, highly sophisticated pressure valves. So, what is actually going on here?
Well, it all comes down to a process called the humanization of strain. It sounds a little academic, I know, but the idea is actually simple and honestly pretty powerful. Your brain takes all that raw, chaotic emotional energy and converts it into symbolic forms, things like dreams, art, and of course, jokes, all in an effort to find balance. It's not about ignoring stress, it's about transforming it.
To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to look at it from a few different angles. So, first up, let's start with the psychological perspective. This is all about how our minds play with meaning to literally change how we feel. From a psychological view, there are two key tools in the toolbox. The first one is called sublimation. This is a classic Freudian idea. Just think of it as channeling all that messy, unconscious energy and conflict into something structured and creative, like a piece of art or a clever joke. The second tool is reappraisal. This is more conscious. It's when we actively zoom in on our thoughts and rewrite the story we're telling ourselves about something stressful. We change the story, we change the feeling. Okay, so that's the story the mind tells itself. But what's actually going on in the hardware? Let's peel back another layer and look at the brain's circuitry when you laugh it off. It's this fascinating little three-step dance inside your head. First, your amygdala, that's your brain's alarm system, it senses a threat and lights up. That's the strain. But then, your prefrontal cortex, kind of like the rational CEO of your brain, it steps in to analyze the situation and reframe it. And when it succeeds, when it finds the irony or the absurdity in the situation, bam, your reward systems release a shot of dopamine. And that feeling of relief you get, that's your brain literally giving itself a pat on the back.
All right, now for something really new. A perspective that treats our feelings not just as abstract ideas or chemical signals, but as actual physical events. This is called the Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM for short.
And here's the key idea, the real game changer. The BKM says that psychological strain isn't just a feeling. It's a real physical wave of energy moving through your brain's tissue. You could think of it as a measurable vibration, a kind of ripple of disturbance that's literally moving through your neural network. And this is a perfect way to picture that transformation. Before your brain works its magic, that strain is like a chaotic, turbulent energy wave. It's messy and disruptive. But afterwards, after that humanization process, that same energy becomes a stable, synchronized pattern. It's almost like you're tuning an old radio that's full of static, and then you find that one perfect frequency, and suddenly everything is clear, harmonic, and stable. So let's put it all together. This really shows how all three of these perspectives are just describing the very same event in different languages. Psychology calls the problem a psychic conflict, and the solution, catharsis. Neuroscience sees it as limbic arousal being calmed down into homeostasis, or balance, and the BKM, it sees a physical phasic imbalance, that chaotic energy wave being redistributed into a calm, balanced state. It's amazing, right? 3 different languages for one incredible process.
Okay, so if the brain is constantly doing this, are all forms of relief the same? Well, no, not at all. It turns out there's this really elegant hierarchy from the deepest and slowest forms of relief, all the way up to the quickest and most immediate ones.
And this right here, this is really the core takeaway. Down at the deepest level, you've got dreams. They work on these low-frequency, broad brain waves to give us a really deep, cathartic discharge of old emotional stuff. Then, in the middle, you have things like metaphors and art, which help us make sense of our feelings, to integrate them. And right at the surface, that's where you find idioms and humor. These are high-frequency, synchronized bursts that give us instant relief and help us bond with others. And hey, this isn't just something that happens inside our own heads. As a species, we've been using humor to manage social strain for centuries. The ancient Greeks, they used irony to question authority. Roman satirists used it to critique corruption. Enlightenment writers used satire for powerful social commentary. And today, well, today we use memes to do all of that, but instantly and on a global scale. So, let's bring this all home. The main thing to remember is that your brain is basically an artist. It is constantly taking the raw, chaotic energy of emotional strain and sculpting it into something with meaning and form, whether that's the epic story of a dream or the sharp, perfect punchline of a joke.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just nails this entire idea. It says, "The pleasure of humor, the beauty of poetry, and the serenity after dreaming all mark one event, strain transforming into form." That feeling of relief, that insight, that calm, they're all just different flavors of that one magical moment when chaos finds its form.
So the next time you feel that pressure building up inside, just pay attention. Your brain is getting ready to create something. The only question is, what form is it going to take?